This is the late evening of Tuesday, the 12th day of May 2026. I was going through my file and I saw something that happened 10 months ago, and everybody has kept quiet and they have covered this. Now, in Plateau State, in the presence of the Plateau State Governor, Mofwang, group of people, I mean the Plateau indigenes, so they came out, they gathered the soldiers. The governor was there. So they were telling the soldiers that when the terrorists came to attack our churches and our community, we hid. We were hiding under, we were hiding under some rocks and some places that made the terrorists not to see us. And we saw you people when you were directing the terrorists on what to attack, on the houses to burn. You were directing them to move into the church, to burn down the church. I mean, Nigerian soldiers, so we are directing the terrorists to burn churches, to attack people. And the soldiers, they were pointing at him. You were doing this, you were doing that. The governor was there. The soldiers did not even say, we did not say so. Like, they were feeling cold. You know what? I took time. I even called some soldiers. I took time to do investigation to discover, do they actually arrest soldiers who were guiding terrorists to attack churches and houses? Do they arrest them? Absolutely no. Do they try them? No. Do they persecute them? No. Do they hang them? Do they sentence them? No, no, no. Do you see where my own concepts and ideology always come from? It comes from the reality on ground. It doesn't come from belief or faith. No. My ideology is based on what is happening, not what you say, no. I deal with what is happening. I did everything I could to make sure that they even bring out these people. They're supposed to, life shame them. These people deserve to be hung. Everybody will be seeing them so that others will not do it. But you know what? I always remember what Chima Danjuma used to say, that if you're waiting for the military and the police to save you, you will die one after the other because they are colluding to commit this killing. Then the question is now, what do you actually call genocide? Because they are Christian communities, Nigerian soldiers joined the terrorists to kill them. And everybody is keeping quiet. So I want you to take time and watch this video. I was just going through my file. This happened 10 months ago. And I saw the video. And I discovered that everything I wrote there, up till now, nothing has been done. Not that these soldiers are running away. They were there in their presence. The governor supposed to even, petition the president. Those soldiers, they're supposed to do investigation. Why did you do this? Why did you do this? That is why, if I'm telling people that insecurity will not end in Nigeria, I know what I'm talking about. It won't end. Because this insecurity is not somehow, maybe someone want to rob. No. This is an ideology to erase certain persons. And when we talk about this, some people will go mad saying, why are you saying there is Christian genocide or there is that? So, take a listen.
The security agencies that the section up here, they are here. This is the road that security agencies have. This is the church. Almost getting to 1 hour, they are trying to have access to this church. And security agents are here. We are all hidden here. We just hide. But we saw them. They just give them back up. That's just the truth. I'm an eyewitness of what happened. So they started the active operation around 3:30 a.m. That is on Tuesday. Honestly, they are falling houses. Some are going there with their machetes. Some with gun, shooting people. Some with carpet spraying on the houses. When they shoot, then the fire just burned the house. And honestly, they are just watching at them. Nothing had happened and we're seeing them. Around 5 p.m., some of the security came for reinforcement and we saw them. This reinforcement, they just reinforced how to help and kill more of our people.
Sector Commander, have you made any arrests? But your security people saw the people. You engaged them. You didn't, none of them was wounded. None of them was arrested. Does that speak well of the operation?
Oh, well. At all.
But let me promise you, Riom will not come down.
Amen.
By the grace of God, we will use every means at our disposal to make sure that this genocide comes to an end.
Amen.
I don't know who will tell me that what happened yesterday is farmers' herders clash. This is an act of terrorism. This is pure genocide. And I can assure you that we'll escalate this matter.
Sir, to your notice, I'm not against the commander, but the commander is not consistent in his own statement. Yesterday he said a different thing, and today he's giving you a different report. What the youth leader said is what he said yesterday, that the Fulani that we are coming here overpower their men and they block their men so they don't have entrance to this community, and that led to this massacre. So I want to tell you again that I said it yesterday to the GOC, and I'm repeating it today in the hearing of the commander, that his men are busy supporting Fulani even in grazing. And farmland destruction is continuing without any hindrance.
To the best of my knowledge, this place, starting from Shonung to Lua to Fang to Bachi to Masi, has had and has been under attack since 1996. But this particular one beats my imagination. It truly beats my imagination, what I'm hearing. It appears, sir, that I do know we have good soldiers and we have good military people, but there are certainly some bad eggs, and the bad ones are really bad. I think they need to fish those out and get them out. Sometime in the past we have asked if the soldiers will not protect us, leave us alone and see if we can find one. Otherwise, it does not make sense. You are said to come and defend this people, and the people have been killed rather than they are loose.
You know, the truth hurts, but it's important we continue to say it. A lot of people don't like this at all. A lot of people don't like it. But you know what? We are always afraid to tell ourselves the truth. And right from time, people have been telling us the truth. The truth is that there is an incompatibility problem. You see, it might take up to 200 years from now. The story will remain the same. When I see countries who are over 500 years, beautiful, stable today, you go back to their history, you will understand that they fought so many wars to correct something. That is your ability to correct your future. We are not correcting our future. Look at what is going on today. How do you think that next 100 years your generation will be? Or where are they going to be with all these things? Where is your generation going to be in the next 100 years? Do you people really think? Are you people thinking? Where will your generation be in the next 50 years? Are you thinking? Oh, you think money is everything? Because you have 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, 1 billion, 2 billion. Oh, you think it's enough? You see, your children might not even take hold of that money at all. This is because you don't know what is coming. This is not to, put fear on people. As I said before, I talk with reality, what is going on. I deal with reality. And yesterday, what happened yesterday is the reason why what is happening today is happening. And what is happening today will determine how the future is going to be. Don't get it twisted.
To become mainstream. So, Father, I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you, for the very first time, how do we bring back to the mainstream those who have now been pushed to the fringes, talking about and believing and espousing the belief that Nigeria truly should be one?
We need to begin by resolving a conceptual crisis. What do I mean by a conceptual crisis? Quite often when we speak about Nigeria, we collapse the distinction between country, state, and nation. We tend to think that the three mean the same. We tend to think the three are synonyms. A country is a territory. From the Latin contra terra, the land that lies ahead of you. A country is a territory. It is not necessarily a nation. A nation is an association of peoples. And I use that word in the plural deliberately because of diversity. A nation is an association of peoples who identify their shared core values. And on the basis of their shared core values, they give themselves a constitution which will now establish institutions that make up the state. What we have in Nigeria and in most African countries is a confusion where we think the nation is the state. The nation is reduced to the state. We have a country quite all right by the fact that we live within a territory, even if that territory is not secure, as we all know. But we don't have a nation. We have institutions that make up the state. We collapse the nation into the state. If you look at our constitution, section 2 of the current constitution, and you don't find this in the 1963 constitution, it ascribes sovereignty not to the people but to the state. That is dangerous. That means the state has the last say on any question. That means the state is more powerful than the citizen. That is a recipe for impunity. Because as we all know, the state is the head of state, or the governor, or whoever represents them. Whatever they say, we all have to comply, whether they're right or wrong. So we don't have a democracy in the true sense of the word.
Oh my God.
And until we have that, until we build a nation, we can't even talk of unfinished greatness. And I have to make a critique of the title of Governor Fayemi's book. It presupposes that there is a project that is unfinished. I am saying we have not even started the project.
Oh my God.
And we need to stop deluding ourselves. What are our shared core values? What are the things that bring us together apart from the super egos? You know, when I had this experience, 2013, I was visiting a place called Do in Plateau State. The Plateau State governor is here. I got to Do the Friday before the Nations Cup final between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. And there was tension everywhere. But on Sunday night, when Nigeria won the game, the final match, the tension dissipated. And most people forget the fact that a young man from southeastern Nigeria received the ball from a young man from Pangshin who had to leave Nigeria because his parents were killed. Victor Moses passed the ball to Sondemba. Sondemba scored the goal. And we didn't even ask about the local government of origin of the scorer of the goal. So what are our shared core values? If you ask the Americans, they talk of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We don't have one. And it is when we begin to identify our shared core values that we begin to build a nation. What we have right now is a state held together at gunpoint. And when the state begins to oppress the citizen, there will be cries of marginalization, there will be secessionist and separatist agitation, there will be insecurity. Now we have set up Nigeria to be a place where the state is more powerful than the citizen, and the state is oppressive. We need to retrace our steps. Quite often, Nigerians ask, which is the way forward? And I say, if you are moving in the wrong direction, you shouldn't be going forward. You should make a U-turn.